I would like to know what you claim he said about you, how he said it, how he published it.
Okay. He sent out mail with self-addressed stamped envelopes to come back to him, to every person in the building.
Do you have a copy of that letter?
The first one, no.
And if you don't have a copy of that letter, it doesn't exist. Do you have a copy of the second one?
Yes.
I'd like to read it. Okay, well, this is a letter that he sent out as treasurer of the association, and he's questioning the last voting procedure that was held in the association. And there's nothing defamatory in here.
It gets worse.
There's nothing defamatory in here. He's questioning some of the things that he claims occurred during the election process that were not according to regulations, both association regulations and HUD regulations. So he's claiming irregularities, and he's sending this out to the people. And at the end, he's requesting that Margot, which would be you, adheres to established rules and regulations, including making all board meetings open to tenants and complying with federal guidelines to ensure fair and transparent elections. And he CC'd somebody from HUD and SFHA.
San Francisco Housing Authority.
Okay.
And that's not the first one that they put out.
Well, that's okay. He's allowed to do that. He says here a couple of things. He makes some statements. He says, Margot, that's you, counted the votes prior to depositing them in the ballot box.
And that's a lie.
Now, Mr. Rittenberg.
Yes, ma'am.
What evidence do you have that the plaintiff counted the votes prior to depositing them in the ballot box?
Well, I have witness accounts. People that were
just
at
a
the
second.
meeting.
You weren't there.
No, I
Do you
wasn't.
have a witness here?
Yeah, Stacy was at the meeting.
Okay. Your last name is?
Stacy Cole.
Ms. Cole, this says that Ms. McNulty, at the last meeting, this is dated July of 2024, counted the votes prior to depositing them in the ballot box. Did you witness that?
No, ma'am.
Did Ms. McNulty ever tell you that she counted the ballots prior to putting them in the ballot box?
No, ma'am.
Sir?
Apparently, I had the wrong information.
Good. Now you can sit down.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Margot controls the keys to the ballot box. Do you control the keys to the ballot box?
There were no keys to the ballot box, and we couldn't use it that day. We had to make a pile in front of the ballot box, so no.
Okay. What else did he do to defame you, Ms. McNulty?
He put out that I was late for a meeting for SFHA, so that...
May I see what you're talking about?
I'm hoping he has it, because that's actually the first one.
No, madam.
I didn't think
he
I'd be
doesn't
suing
have
him,
to prove anything. This is your case.
Okay.
You have to prove that he defamed you.
I can prove this further backs up my story.
Well, tell me what it is.
This is something that he accompanied in the surveys that he sent out in the self-addressed stamped mailings, which were like 3 waves of them so far.
May I see
And this
it,
says, okay, and in every language too. And he posted the walls with it as well.
Just a second. Okay, well, this is his opinion. If you were present at either meeting, you witnessed Margot's disrespect for the bylaws and rules and what she thinks of us and how she disregards your rights as members of the association.
I do not disregard their rights.
Well, that may be. That's his opinion. That's what he thinks. All right. My report I sent to the survey, I said Margot and he had arrived 20 minutes late. The truth is there is no official notation of the time they arrived, but it was after the meeting was called to order. I was inaccurate by stating that they arrived 20 minutes late. I don't know how many minutes late they arrived. It was wrong for me to make this statement with no facts, and I apologize to Margot. Moving forward, I promise to be factual and truthful and stick to the facts, especially when reporting back to tenants. Did you write this, sir?
Yes, the apology, yes.
Yes, okay, because you were wrong that she arrived late.
Yes.
Okay, he said he was wrong. He apologized for it. What's
It's a
next?
sarcastic apology, but...
What's next?
Okay, he's doxed my personal correspondence.
He what?
Doxing.
What is that?
Doxing. It's when you share correspondence that's supposed to be private with other people.
What private correspondence are you talking
All
about?
my texts.
Your texts to whom?
Texts to various people. He's put them on together and handed them out.
Just a second. These are texts that evidently people who you sent texts to share them with him?
I know.
Well, then somebody gave them to him. Then somebody shared them with him. Then they are no longer your personal texts with somebody.
Well, it's the private integrity that you expect privacy in your conversations, and there's no integrity or public trust.
If you sent a text to somebody, he can't go into your computer and hack your computer and take out those texts. He's not permitted to do that. But if the person to whom you corresponded voluntarily gave those to him...
He can't share that, can he?
Yes, he can.
This is your classic HOA nightmare. We have got an HOA president actually suing her neighbor for defamation, harassment, and get this assault. And I'm like just sitting here like, ma'am, calm down. You're not the president of the United States. You are just the president of the Law Height Police. First off, everyone needs to take a breather. This guy sends a letter to the neighbors saying the HOA president is not following the proper election rules. And guess what? He is allowed to think that. He is allowed to share that opinion with whoever he wants. That's why it's called an opinion. It's not a defamation. It's a neighborhood updates. And he is just keeping people informed. Plus, nothing he said, he was even proven false. He simply said that he did not trust the process. And now suddenly this is a full-blown court case with Judge Judy. This is a peak HOA drama, guys. And there are no real problems here, no crime waves, no zombies, just a bunch of boomers with the clipboards fighting over who has authority over the bushes. Honestly, when it comes to HOA drama, my take is, who cares? You are not running a country, you are basically running a Facebook group with bylaws. Let's be real. Being an HOA president is just adult hell monetary energy. Nobody actually likes you. You don't get a secret service detail. You just get Karen from lot 12 emailing you about mailbox colors at 2 a.m. If you can't handle the neighborhood questioning your moves, maybe you should not be in charge of the annual mulch inspection. This whole case is just two people bored enough to weaponize paperwork. Meanwhile, the rest of the neighborhood just wants to grill in peace. And you are making everyone regret ever buying a home in a HOA. In my opinion, this lady has totally lost it. And there is no way she has winning a defamation case. But what do you guys think about this? Do you like an HOA? And what do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Ms. McNulty, I want to explain something to you. If you send someone a letter, I send a letter to Sarah. It's a private letter. If Sarah decides to share it with Whitney, and Whitney says, look, I got this letter from Sarah that I got from her. I didn't hack anything. I didn't steal her mail. And she says, I'm going to show this letter to Kevin. She can do that.
Your private communications?
I just explained it to you.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd like to mention that even though these are just a couple of the things that we're mentioning so far, that there was an instigating point in this, like something that started all this was his hate mail against me, which you haven't concluded yet, I understand.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
so far, what I've seen is sort of benign. It's somebody on the board who, for some reason, doesn't like the president of the board or doesn't like the policy or doesn't like the presentation, and he's communicating with the rest of the tenants. And so far, I haven't seen anything defamatory.
There was a candidate that came recently to our building, and we wanted to celebrate them or give them a platform to speak to the tenants. And I heard him and everyone in front of everyone screaming about me, saying that I do whatever I want, ruining my reputation. And he's gone so far as to government agencies, to this candidate that, I mean, I'm starting my political career now.
You have to understand something. He's allowed to express his opinion. He's not allowed to say anything that's untrue. That's not an opinion. He can say, I think she is the worst president of the Tenants Association that you could ever elect. That's his opinion. He can't say Miss McNulty has a venereal disease. He can't say Miss McNulty robbed a bank in 1967, unless you did. He can't say Miss McNulty kills animals in her apartment, unless it's true. He can't say things that are not his opinion that aren't true. So far, he said, she does whatever she wants to do. That's his opinion. He sends out notices to tenants. When he gets it wrong, he said, I think I got it wrong. He clearly doesn't like you.
Clearly.
Okay, that's not a crime.
You just stated that he's not allowed to put out lies about me. That first letter that you were reading, if you go on there, everything there is a lie, and I can prove the things are lies.
What?
You know, he can have his own opinion, but he's taking things...
I would like you to read it to me. Tell me this is your exhibit.
Exactly.
Tell me what it is.
The board has been replaced with members Margot has chosen and who are aligned with her actions, potentially allowing unchecked control over decisions, including financial matters.
That's his opinion. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
He's allowed to say that.
Scheduling appears to have been structured to support an agenda aligned with the needs of the...
Also his opinion.
Okay.
Appears to have been structured. Also his opinion.
Okay, this violates your rights to fair election. He's going on and on about this election being fair, where we covered everything by the book.
That's his opinion.
Oh, then he can say, isn't that a lie, though?
No, it's not a lie. It's his opinion. He thought the election was unfair.
Okay, he's done this hate mail campaign to people that it makes a difference for my future. I've started a company that's educating the subsidized housing board of officers and training. And so he's disparaged my reputation.
Show me.
That.
You tell me that he's disparaged you by saying things that were a lie to a governmental agency. You mean the fact that he CC'd HUD?
The fact that he went to HUD for even this printout.
That's okay. He can do that.
He can just go around and ruin my reputation to people.
What he's doing is he's sending a copy of this letter, and there's nothing defamatory that you've proven in this letter, and he sent it to HUD.
Nope. That's the
HUD.
Mayor's Office of Housing.
He's allowed to do that.
Okay, I didn't finish on these. That gets worse.
Well, I want to see them, madam. That's why
Okay.
you're here. So far,
Okay.
I've looked at them, and it is clear that he doesn't like you and thinks that you're not doing a proper job in your job as president of the association. He's allowed to feel that way, and he's allowed to voice his opinion about that. He's not allowed to say things about you that are blatantly a lie. This is his opinion. He thinks the election is unfair and skewed to your people. Well, that's his opinion, and you can't prove otherwise.
So now she claims that his personal opinion, it's actually going to sabotage her political campaign because she's running for a city position. And I'm just like, okay, hold on. This clearly is not about grass height anymore. It's about your thirsty ambition to run for office everywhere you go. And let's be real for a second. If one grumpy neighbor with a printer can single-handedly derail your entire campaign, you are definitely not cut out for politics. This is city council. We are talking about not HOA life. If you can't handle a neighbor from lot 8 writing a salty PDF about you, what's the plan when actual voters show up and start voicing real complaints? Look, you cannot just sue your way out of criticism. This is not leadership. But honestly, that seems to be exactly how a very HOA boss operates. It's basically just massive insecurity hidden behind a gavel. And maybe if hearing a different opinion feels like a threat to you, politics is not your game. Because when you run for office, dealing with opinions is literally in the job description. You don't get to run for city leadership and then have a meltdown because someone decided to question how much handle the neighborhood lawn elections. In my opinion, this lady is totally delusional. She thinks every piece of criticism is a reason for a wild lawsuit. But let me tell you something, opinions are free. It's called freedom of speech. You have the right to say what you want. You don't get to sue someone just because you hate how their words make you look or feel. If you are constantly showing up late to meetings and someone points that out to the neighborhood, and then people start thinking, hey, maybe this person is not fit for office. Guess what? This is your reputation built on your own actions. That's just how people are perceiving you are based on how you behave. So guys, what do you think about this? Let me know in the comments.
He may not be able to prove it, but that's his opinion. And having lived in many buildings with many, many boards, I can tell you that you feel that way about some, you feel that way about others, you feel some are behaving properly in everybody's best interests. You think some people are acting like dictators when they're president of the association. You think that some mishandle elections by scheduling them at an inappropriate time. You think all of those things, that's your opinion, and you're allowed to write that down. And if it's hurtful to you, and if you feel as if it's hurting your reputation, and if being the president of the board has become too onerous a situation for you, let somebody else be president of the board.
I really enjoy my work.
Well, this is part of your job. You have to deal with people who disagree with you.
Okay.
That's it.
So
None of that runs with it, unless you have something else to show me.
Well, things that are his opinion are one thing, but these things that he has that are not true.
Like what?
Like that we didn't check the ballots for.
How do you know?
I have the proctor's signature, notarized statement about that everything went according to the rules.
I'll hear that witness.
She was afraid to fly, so.
Okay.
We hear the assault.
Will I hear the assault? There was no assault. I'll see the medical records.
No, it wasn't that. It was humiliation in front of my members and tenants and broke a nail and was
There's no
hostile.
You have to understand, there is no crime of humiliation. You had an argument with him and he pulled a checkbook out of your hand. That's what happened, according to you.
That's correct.
That's not a crime. I mean, if you
all
went
these
to
things add up.
medical treatment because you hurt your finger.
I broke my fingernail.
All right, let's get real.
Well,
money
all these
owed
things add up.
This is his counterclaim. You have no case. Comes with the territory of being president of a tenants association. Some tenants like you and some tenants don't. I've never been foolish enough to be president of a board. I have enough trouble just having this job. Sometimes it's a thankless job. People usually like it because they like power, you know. I live in Florida. I've been in lots of buildings with all of them had boards and all of them had presidents and everybody votes. I could actually never understand it, but I'm grateful for some because associations need somebody to keep the place organized. But you're always going to find people that disagree with you and don't think you're doing a good job.
Well, there is something.
You have to forge on.
Can I just make one point about this? Because I innocently put something out about him and his name, he's just started this campaign of everything but going against me. So it's actually snowballed in directions that have taken it to other places. Maybe they're not here to testify. But it was not done maliciously at all. He just had such sensitivity to it that he took it out of me.
I've read the papers and I've read the fact that the kerfuffle started because Mr. Rittenberg likes to be called by another first name other than his given name at birth. And you posted something that used his given birth name instead of the name that he prefers to be called. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Not a major Geschichte, but evidently clearly bothered you.
Yes.
Whatever.
The fact that I
Mr.
innocently... innocently put that out without doing it on purpose.
I don't know whether it was innocently or not. That's your statement that it was innocent.
What's intent and impact?
In the scheme of life, Mr. Rittenberg, somebody called you by the wrong name. It's not the end of the world.
No, ma'am, it's not.
Okay, and I assume that that's not, it shouldn't be the reason that you have taken on Ms. McNulty in her job as president of the association. But so far, there is nothing defamatory that I have seen that you wrote about her that is actionable, okay? That's it. I'm done with you.
Okay,
Now, I'm done with you. Now, Mr. Rittenberg, I'm going to deal similarly with your countersuit, which I'm going to read. Margot has blatantly disregarded my preference when it comes to my name. Not a crime.
Not a crime.
You know, if I sued everybody that called me another name, I would be busy from now until she receives AARP letters. She has acted in her own self-interest on the board. Also, not a cause of action, sir. I'm reading your claim. In order to assist my neighbors to make the right decision, I mailed out information regarding Margot that she wasn't openly sharing, and she should have. You're talking about all this stuff that you mailed out.
Right, so...
Okay, so you mailed it out.
Yeah.
And it was part of her duty to be transparent, and since she wasn't, she should have to incur all the costs that I incurred sending out all this stuff. That's what your case is.
Yes.
Do you know what I think about that, sir?
You probably don't like that.
No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
You want to
So your counterclaim is dismissed. We're
That's
done
fine.
here. Have a pleasant evening. Goodbye and good luck. Live in peace.
May I
caught him in
ask
a lie,
for
though.
expenses for sending out the letters to residents notifying
Just a second. I just said to you. You want to?
them of the irregular election?
I just said to you, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
If you want to send out letters, you can send out mass mailings to whoever you like, but that's not your responsibility. And if you choose to act as an independent person and send out mail, that's not her responsibility to pay for it, because in your mind you say she's supposed to be transparent. You want to do that? That's fine. Nobody's going to pay for it but you. You want to be good Sam? Do it. What I'm telling you is, sir, life is short.
Javon,
If you think that's...
it's so important. I know you don't like it, but I didn't want you to leave before you...
We're done.
I caught him in a lie.
This court is adjourned.
Well, I think it was unfair.
I really appreciate the judge's decision to dismiss the whole thing.
I just think pettiness.
Honestly, it was a bunch of hot air.
We could get along, but he's not, like, in the circle anymore.
I just wanted this thing to be over with so we can all go back to living.
I'm 100% with the judge on this one. You can't just go around slapping people with the defamation counter suits just because they said something you did not like. And the fact that he wanted her to pay for those mailers. Like, bro, you sent that stuff out of your own good heart for the neighbors. She should not have to foot the bill for you trashing her reputation. It's honestly insane. It's like a tabloid printing lies about the president and then sending him to the invoice. That's just next level delusional to me. Honestly, this guy is the perfect example of why everyone hates HOAs. Seriously, think about it. It happened in my own HOA too. The board members get into those ego wars, fighting each other constantly, while the rest of us are just trying to live in peace, mow our lawns, and keep our property values up. I did not get the drama or why everyone is so litigious, and at the end of the day, you are just homeowners in an association. Just relax, breathe, and stop making life miserable for everyone else. This should be the easiest thing in the world. In my opinion, HOAs either need to dissolve or lose most of their power. They did not be turning into these crazy, dramatic legal battlegrounds. So I want to hear from you. Is there actually a place for good HOA, or are all just toxic? Should we just get rid of them entirely? Especially in places like Florida, where the fees are sky high and then can literally foreclose on your house if you miss payments. Terrifying. So what's your take on this mess? Let me know in the comments below.